Hi math friends, today we're looking at solving one-step equations again. This is part 2, and today we're looking at the addition and subtraction properties of equality. So to put this in simpler terms, if I have a simple equation like 10 equals 10, and we know that to be true, it's the same number. If I want to use the addition property of equality here, what I need to do is add the same thing to both sides of the equation. And I could really add anything here. If I add 5 to both sides, this would be okay to do because then both sides are 15. This is what we mean when we say balance the equation. We have to keep both sides equal. Let's clear that. Let's try a different number. What if I added 1? So let's add 1 to both sides. Then I'll have 11 equals 11. They have to be the same number. Let's try something that's not the same to show how it works that way. What if I add 1 to this side of the equal sign, and if I add 3 to this side? Well, then I get 11, and I get 13. 11 is not the same as 13, so that's not going to work there. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll move on to the next one. Let's add 20 to both sides. So if I add 20 to both sides, 10 plus 20, we get 30 equals the other side. 10 plus 20 is 30. Let's look at our other equation that we have written here, 17 equals 17. Let's try the subtraction property here. So if I subtract the same number on both sides of the equal sign, I should get something equal. 16 equals 16. Okay, just like the addition property, I can subtract the same thing on both sides, and that'll work out. So why do we need to know this? Let's look at when we have algebraic equations to solve. Again, we might be able to look at this x and say, oh, I can guess a number and that'll work. But when we get to more complicated things, we need to find something that works every time. We're going to be typing in the steps here as we go along as well. We need to isolate the variable x, so I look for inverse operations. Plus 9, what's the opposite of adding 9? We're going to do minus 9 on both sides. So this is the subtraction property of equality. So if I ask for the steps, I can write something like subtraction property of equality. It might say apply the subtraction property of equality. That's another way to say it as well. Looking at this here though, positive 9 and minus 9, those are inverses. So we're just left with x. On the right side, 21 minus 9, we get 12. When we go to check, what we need to do is we need to rewrite the original equation, but we're not going to use x. We'll see what we use there in a sec. So I'm going to say plus 9 equals 21. And back here, instead of where we had x, we're going to use our solution. We'll say 12, and we'll put that in parentheses. So then what we do is we still separate both sides. 21 is just 21. On the left side, I have this 12 in parentheses. The reason I put it in parentheses is sometimes there's something to multiply by here, but here there's not. So this is just 12 plus 9, and that's 21. So this worked out. So our equation checked out to make sure it was equal on both sides. Let's look at a couple more. Laying down the equal sign, isolate the variable, minus 12, so it's the opposite of that. That would be plus 12 on both sides. So I'm going to use the addition property of equality here. And you're going to show your work for that by writing plus 12 on both sides of the equation. So then I get 102 equals m. And let's go ahead and check. So remember, when I check it, I'm going to rewrite the original equation. Instead of the variable, I'll write the solution that I got. And then I'll rewrite the rest of it. So line down the equal sign here, 90 is just 90. 102, there's nothing to multiply by here first, so 102 minus 12, we do get 90. So that checks out. If you ever do this and it doesn't check out, that means that you did something wrong and we need to go back and redo it. Let's check out this one as well. 86 equals r plus 2, line down the equal sign. And then I need to look for inverse operations in the variable. Variables here are plus 2, let's do the opposite. Minus 2, minus 2. When I'm asked to record my steps there, since I did minus 2 on both sides, that would be the subtraction property of equality. And then go ahead and simplify both sides now. 86 minus 2 is 84 equals plus 2 minus 2. So 2 minus 2 would be 0, so we're just left with r. And there's our solution. When I go to check this, then I rewrite the original equation. 86 equals, instead of r, I'll use my solution. (84) plus 2. And then go ahead and work this out. So left side is 86. Right side, 84 plus 2, we get 86. So that checked out, and that worked.